Imagine this. A young American track running distance prodigy is set to become the best in the world. He's a role model for thousands across the country and has the weight of the entire nation on his shoulders. But he dies at age 24. And today, this man remains a running legend in the United States. Today I'm going to give you an overview of the life of Steve Prefontaine, his youth and college running career, his debut in the Olympics, and his untimely death. We'll start with his youth and college career. Steve was born January 25th, 1951 in Coos Bay, Oregon. And like all other kids, he tried other sports such as football or basketball. And he was a real small guy, so he would normally hear, "You're too small pre, you're not fast enough pre, just go home pre," like he shouldn't even try to be out there. And so he never could play with the other kids, and of course this angered him. So angry, he just started running, and once he started running, he just never stopped. In high school, he went undefeated as a junior and senior in cross country and track. And his senior year, he set an American record in the 2-mile with a time of 8 minutes and 41.5 seconds. And he went on to sign with the University of Oregon, which is the best running school in the nation then and arguably still today. He was a standout freshman at the University of Oregon and went on to have 3 more great years there. At Oregon's Adventure Coast, I found that he won 3 NCAA titles in cross country and 4 NCAA titles in track in the 3-mile. And the only reason that wasn't 4 in track or cross country was because he went to the Olympics instead. In high school and college, he raced a total of 151 times and won 121 of those races. All 3 times that he lost in college was in the mile, and never once losing at a distance longer than that. His first NCAA title to win in track, he did so with 12 stitches in his foot due to a swimming accident on the diving board just days before the track meet. And the one race he lost in college that was not the mile, he did in the Olympics, and he took 4th place. And let's talk about that trip to Olympics in Munich, Germany in the 1972 games. His junior year, he qualified for the Olympics. And in the Olympic trials, he won, and setting an American record with 13 minutes and 22 seconds. And that American record stood for 40 years. He arrived in Germany when a huge controversy takes place during the Olympic Games. On September 5th, 8 Palestinian terrorists seized 11 Israeli athletes and murdered them. And the IOC said that they should go ahead and continue the games despite the tragedy. And a memorial was held for those 11 athletes, and the games continued. And so Steve and his coach devised a strategy for him to be able to be successful in his race. Steve was to let a guy that had ran in the 10K set the pace for the first 2 miles of the race and then take over and win. Well, unfortunately for him, that didn't work out too well. He got boxed in, and the guys that ran the 10K were tired and just ran slow for the first 2 miles of the race, so not much he could do about that. He took over the last mile running 4 minutes for the 3rd mile, and that was half a minute faster than the previous 2 miles. But that wasn't enough, and he took 4th place. Now let's talk about his death. On May 30th, 1975, there was a race held at Hayward Field, which was the home track to the University of Oregon. And Steve won the race, of course, and later on, USA Sports Today had an article that said he attended a party in celebration of that. And Steve left the party and had a car accident, and the car flipped on top of him, and he was just squished to death. And once he was found, he had a blood alcohol level of 0.16, twice the legal limit. And there's a big rock next to the road there named Pre's Rock. And there's a plaque on it that reads, "For your dedication and loyalty to your principles and beliefs, for your love, warmth, and friendship, for your family and friends, you are missed by so many, and you'll never be forgotten." There was a service held at Hayward Field later on that week, and the service lasted the time of his American record in the 5K. And the last minute of that was a moment of silence. Every year, there's a track meet held that is named after him, and a 10K race held in his memory. And at Sociology of Sport Journal, As for the time of his death, it was said that he had 8 American records from 2,000 meters to 10,000 meters. To conclude, Steve said that if you did not push your body's limits for the entire duration of the race, you were not successful even if you won that race. I've told you about Steve's youth and college running career, his debut in the 1972 Olympic Games, and his untimely death at age 24. And I'll end with a quote. Steve said, "Some people create words with music or with a brush and paints. I like to make something beautiful when I run. I like to make people stop and say, I've never seen anyone run like that before. It's more than just a race, it's a style." I think we should all live that way with our passions.